So you're a middle-aged knowledge worker, and you are thinking about making a career change for the better. Better salary, more interesting work, better team environment. How do you do it? I want to talk about how you land a gig at a Fortune 100 company as a mid-aged knowledge worker and a career switcher. I have done this quite a few times in my corporate career, from sales to business analytics, management consulting, and now corporate strategy. Each time with an increasing salary and responsibilities. I have consolidated 3 steps necessary to succeed in making this jump, and I want to talk about those 3 steps with an added note on how AI plays into a job search and skill accumulation. Before we start, I want to address the why. Why do we want to make this video, and why should you care? The simple reason is that making a career jump is really hard. It's very hard for anyone because you have to learn new skills and build the right network. All this takes time. But it is especially hard for someone in their middle age who has responsibilities outside of work and has gotten used to going through life in a certain way. Until life forces you to change, or you are so unsatisfied in your current state that change is the only option that you have. So how do you do it? Broadly, there are 3 steps. The first one is change your mindset from I can't to I will. I know that sounds cheesy, but until your mindset shifts, nothing will change. Sometimes we change things not because we did something wrong, but because we are the only ones who can. There are broadly 2 buckets of mindset shift. One is from negative to positive. Negative thoughts tend to make us really unhappy. It makes us dwell in the past, being resentful and without a clear solution for the future. The key thing is to be aware of your mind. When you catch yourself thinking about negative thoughts, stop immediately and train your brain to focus on the positive things and the future events that makes you hopeful and happy. The second is from I can't to I will. I think Alex Hormozi said it best. Fear always feels very real in the abstract, and it always fades away in the specific. Fear always feels very real in the abstract, but it always fades away in the specific. So the point is, once you focus on the specific to-dos, the fear tends to fade away, and you realize that things that you are afraid of are actually not that scary. So for me, it was very scary when I went back to get my MBAs in my 30s. Where will my income come from? How much time do I have to take away from my family? How would I guarantee that I can make a living and pay off the student loan? But it wasn't until I get into the specifics that I started to calm down. So I realized to pay back my loan in 20 years, all I need is 1 acceptance out of the 200 interviews that I'm likely to conduct. My school has a 94% employment rate, which means that 9 out of the 10 graduates made it out okay. I think that is I actually think that is a very safe bet for my future. The point is, you don't have to get an MBA to double your salary, though I think that it certainly helped. In my case, it really did. But if you're interested, see my link below on how to get into a top 10 MBA schools in the United States. The second one is to take an honest stock of your current situation. Focus particularly on these 4 things. How do I feel? What skills do I have? What is my desired role? And what skills do I need to accumulate before I can reach those desired roles? So how do I feel? If you're looking for other positions, chances are there is something in your career that you are not satisfied with. Are you feeling stuck, unsatisfied, sad, jealous of others in the same age group who seem to have all figured out? A side note before we move on to the next point. I believe that no one has gotten it all figured out, even though some people appear to be so from the outside. Some of the most miserable people that I know are millionaires. What skills do I have? What skills have you accumulated in the past decade of your career? Don't stop at a technical level. Look at the job postings for your current role. Typically, in any job posting, there is a section for skills required, and you should typically have all of those skills and more. There are broadly two very underappreciated skills that are crucial for any career switch, and they are pretty easy to learn once you know the process. The first one is well-roundedness, the ability to step outside of one's work and clearly articulate how one's work contributes to the overall business strategy. The other one is to know your strength, the ability to highlight one's strength while continue to improve one's weakness in the day-to-day. For me, when I left the industry to consulting, I have accumulated business, financial planning, data analytics skills. So I knew that I needed to improve my executive presentation and storytelling skills, and that is the ability to tell a compelling story to C-suites and motivate them to make a decision that typically requires millions of dollars. I was able to acquire the skill by basically hiding my weakness and highlighting my industry skills in the day-to-day operation, since most management consultants do not have my industry knowledge. What is my desired role? Specific matters a lot in here. Don't just say, in the case of consulting, I want to do management consulting that made me double my salary. Set specific goals. What types of consulting firms? MBB? Boutique firms? General management or specific specialty focus? Are there any specific industries that you want to be in? The more specific that you can be, the more it informs you the next step, which is what skills do I need to accumulate so I can get my desired role. When it comes to skills required that you need to accumulate before reach the desired role, broadly speaking, there are two types of skills. One is technical skills. So if you want to do retail consulting, back to the case of consulting, you better have a really good and solid understanding of retail, from assortment selection to item pricing, to supply chain, to go-to-market strategy, to vendor management, to customer loyalty, to e-commerce. These technical skills are actually relatively easy to acquire. Go to LinkedIn and browse at dozens of your desired roles, and you will quickly find out of the common skills that are required. Once you know, go to any of the free resources or pay a bit of money to get a certificate. So long as you are working on it consistently, you should be able to get the technical skills required within 6 months. So for my case, this is how I learned how to code. I was in a strategy role, but I wanted to pivot to data analytics. The commonly required skill is that you have to be pretty good at least one of the 3 commonly used programming languages, SQL, Python, or R. So I found a 3-month certificate program that I liked in Cornell, learned it, and earned that certificate. My company ended up having a program that can pay for the whole thing. So in the end, all I had to contribute was my time. The other skills is the human skills. How to build a human connection and expand your network. The more senior that you get in your career, the more important that this skill becomes. So when you reach into a certain career level, say senior manager level at a Fortune 100 company, these human skills are usually the ones that help you land your next gig. So my position was terminated a year ago. 1 month later, I got a better job in the same company. More interesting projects, better team dynamics. I was able to achieve this because of the connections that I have built within the company. The third one is to take action. Develop a plan to attack the problem. For plans, I wouldn't take more than half a day to set up the plan. I think Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Depends on the gap between your current role and your desired state. Just make the determination that you will not take no for an answer. Get used to failure. So I didn't appreciate this when I was in sales, but I can certainly be grateful now. A good sales process really gives you the right mindset to deal with rejection. So Daniel Priestley has a LABS approach regarding sales. LABS stands for leads, appointment, presentation, and sales. No matter how you feel, you know that if you keep following this approach, it will eventually come. And as in sales, as in life, a no is just a deferred yes. Fear in our head, it has a lot to do with us being stuck in the current role. I think when it comes to dealing with fear, there are two common things that I see, and I'm guilty of this as well. One is that you are so afraid of failure, of people telling you no, of that HR email that, hey, while we appreciate your interest, we have decided to move on to a better candidate that is more suitable to our current needs. So you're afraid of them, so you choose to do nothing. Continue to make plans, but don't execute them. The other observation is that people are afraid because they think the rejection makes them a failure. I don't think that's true. I think that you are a person who fails at this one thing while attempting to achieve your goal. You will only fail if you stop pursuing the career that you want. So the main takeaway is this. Until I have the mindset shift and the plan to bridge the skill gap, none of the doors are open to me. I applied to thousands of jobs online and heard nothing back. But after the mindset shift and executing the plan, typically I receive 3 interview invites in one day. My point is, everyone is capable of change. You just need to accept that what you need to do and do it. So it might take a while, but you will certainly get you there. I also want to talk about briefly the role of AI. So AI is everywhere. The reason why so many knowledge workers are panicking right now is because we are the ones whose job will be eliminated by AI if we are not careful. So if you ask a plumber or electrician if they worry about their jobs being taken over by AI, they'll just laugh. Their jobs are not at stake. Ours are. So what do you do when 80% of your job, AI can likely do it better? You make sure that you are invaluable by doing that 20% well. I think that AI is great at a lot of things. It's great at synthesizing, generating insights, predicting the future performance based on the past. And for a non-human, it's also remarkable for its capacity to show empathy. So you can ask all the stupid questions that you're afraid to ask your colleagues in ChatGPT, and you will show you step by step. It is the most patient and non-judgmental teacher we have. But I think what AI is not so great at is being human. I know it sounds obvious, but I think that's true. We humans are great at innovation, not just inventing new things, but processes, achieving the same desired outcomes, but with different approaches. So conveying the same messages, but with different tones and expressions. We humans are also great at struggles, turning the struggle into a beautiful story to remind us later on that experience and to learn from it. The bottom line is, humans are endlessly fascinated with other humans. So if we don't want to be replaced by AIs, we better learn how to be better, more interesting humans. So now you have done it, now what? Most people think, I will be happy if I get this better job that double my salary. If you're one of these people and you have landed a better job, one thing that you will quickly realize is that landing a better job does not make you happier. It's like 5 minutes of excitement followed by daily anxiety, ranging from, oh, what the hell did I get myself into, to, okay, now that I have accomplished my goal, what's next? That's completely normal. I have done it multiple times. But the question is, now what? What do we do about it? This feeling of emptiness. So the short answer is that our jobs generally don't give you the feeling of happiness. Connections do. Connect with our community, with our loved ones, connect with yourself. And those are the things that give you genuine joy and contentment, not outside success. If you find this content helpful, please like and subscribe for more. See you next time.